I can pull this off. When the doors start to open and the windows come down, when the lights in the sky start moving around, when the ice starts to thicken at the polar caps, the earth starts looking like the ancient maps, when the kingdom of Atlantis starts to rise from the seas, we start to hear voices in the rocks and trees. Do you really think we're gonna know how to change this time? Here I go. I'm living the mystery over. I don't know. Maybe I'll live it forever. It's another one of those ancient tales, like the legend of Odysseus and the Holy Grail. And it's all gonna happen like the legends say. It's happened before in a similar way. I've heard that the people who were living back then are being born on the earth to try it again. And I really hope they're gonna know how to change this time. Here I go, living the mystery over. I don't know. Maybe I'll live it forever. Well, it's not just a matter of wrong and right, and it's not just a matter of black and white. And sometimes when I'm sleeping, it's as clear as glass. Sometimes it's as black as the black is black. Hey, brothers and sisters, tell me, what can we do? Do you think that we're many or just a few? Do you really think we're gonna know how to change this time? Here I go, living the mystery over. I don't know. Maybe I'll live it forever. You know what do you know? Brothers and sisters, run and look outside. Are there any strange lights in the sky tonight? I think that any moment now it's all gonna change. Nothing that we knew is gonna be the same. Brothers and sisters, we're out here on the edge, and although this may not be the end, once we fall in, I got a feeling it's a long way down. Here I go, living the mystery over. I don't know. Maybe I'll live it That's what I get for not playing these things for a while. I changed 2 verses around the order there, and it threw me off. Luckily, I've got a cheat sheet here, although I can't read it because I can't see that far. This song is called "The Wandering Fool," and it's based on the tarot cards. The tarot cards can be used as storytelling devices as well as prognosticators. And so what I tried to do here was get more into the storytelling aspect of the cards. I played around with the cards and noticed you could arrange them in different ways, and they would tell a kind of a little tale. So, and I arranged them in such a way that it would tell a little tale about me. So that's what this song is. My card is the wandering fool, walking on a mountain path. Sun shining down on him, white dog that follows him, rose in his hand. As he steps into space, there's a rose in his hand. As he steps into space, I am covered by the King of Swords, sitting on his ancient throne. Blue is the robe he wears, gold is the crown he wears, sharp is the sword in his hand. Sharp is the sword in his hand. I am crossed by the wheel of fate, turning in the sky of blue. Typhon descend with me, Anubis rise with me, Sphinx with a sword rules with a smile. Sphinx with a sword, I love to say that, rules with a smile. Try saying Sphinx with a sword. Say it 10 times real fast. I am crowned by the Queen of Cups, sitting on her watery throne. Mother of fools is she, mother of swords is she, queen of the deep salt sea. She's the queen of the deep salt sea. And below in the deep salt sea is where the journey of the crab begins. 2 towers look down on him, wild dogs call out to him, light from the moon turning to flame. Light from the moon turning to flame. And behind in the darkening past stands a hermit in a hooded robe. The old man, he waits for me, holding a lamp for me, searching the ground for a path. Searching the ground for a path. And ahead in the darkening sky comes a flash and a terrible roar. Down from the towers they come, down to the earth they come, kings in their crowns, falling through air. Kings in their crowns, falling through air. Then in the sky there appeared an angel with purple wings, the horn in the angel's hand, sounding a clarion, calling me back into the light, calling me back into the light. So here in the garden we stand, naked in the angel's light, lovers in paradise, lost in each other's eyes, blind to the snake, waiting to strike, blind to the snake, waiting to strike. And so it shall come to pass that our flesh shall become our chain, holding us here below, bound to the devil's stone, slaves to the world we have made, slaves to the world we have made. But soon there shall come a dawn and a night on a ghost white steed. Death will come riding by, bearing his banner high, breaking our chain, setting us free, breaking our chain, setting us free. Oh my, let's see. How do I want to do this? My friend Howard Schwartz from St. Louis is responsible for this next song. Howard teaches at the University of Missouri at St. Louis, and was at the time that this, he was teaching a poetry class at one time that had a girl in it who was very talented, quite a talented poet. Her name was Julie Carey. And back in 1991, I believe it was, she and her sister and her cousin, was that the other guy, were out on the Chain of Rocks Bridge after it had been closed down, and got attacked by a gang of guys, and the two sisters were raped and thrown in the river. The boy was thrown in the river also, and he managed to survive. But Howard sent me a bunch of poems that Julie wrote, and it was just eerie how she had almost seen what was going to happen to her. So what I did was I took several pieces of these poems and put this song together, which is called The Undertow. On the bridge above the chain of rocks, she saw herself 1,000 tiny pebbles rushing helplessly downstream. Current swirled her in against the jagged rocks, the rocks that seemed to reach for her as she imagined then. Remember that the undertow can take you in so easy. Take your hand, lead you dancing down dark alleys to the place where dancing ends. She thought she saw it coming, prophesied it with her pen on paper napkins in a cozy night cafe. But when it finally found her on the bridge, it had a name that was more dangerous than any she could say. Remember that the undertow can take you in so easy, take your hand and lead you dancing down dark alleys to the place where dancing ends. And so they pressed her body down beneath their jagged bodies, still the song that they could never hear her sing. And so the river took her in and held her in its cool and muddy layers, and it took away her pain. Remember that the undertow can take you in so easy, take your hand and lead you dancing down dark alleys to the place where dancing ends. Her hand no longer pens the words, she polished like the tiny stones the current of the rushing river rolled. And though her voice is silent now, her words like leaves come back each time the story in this song of hers unfolds. Remember that the undertow can take you in so easy, take your hand and lead you dancing down dark alleys to the place where dancing ends. Remember that the undertow can take you in so easy, take your hand and lead you dancing down dark alleys to the place where dancing ends. Grew up by the river, that's my home. I got it in my blood and in my bones. The music moves me like a whippoorwill. There's really only one song I can sing. River runs outside my door, black snake sleeps beneath my floor. Hickory Oak and Sycamore, hoot owl calling me, come back home. I went out to walk one day, left my home and I walked away. Took the path down by the talking water, walked beneath the sycamores, went farther than I'd gone before, came upon a land I'd never seen. River runs outside my door. Black snake sleeps beneath my floor. Hickory oak and sycamore, hoot owl calling me, come back home. The valley seemed carved out of time. The sun just seemed to hang there in the sky. The limestone bluffs, they all had caves. Climbed up to one, looked out at things, meditated on talking water. Felt myself drawn out and down, got lost inside the silver sound, deep within a landscape in my mind. River runs outside my door. Black snake sleeps beneath my floor. Hickory oak and sycamore, hoot owl calling me, come back home. Then the day seemed to suddenly end. Found myself back on that path again. So I made my way back home, remembering the peace I'd known, sitting there beside the talking water. Someday I'll go back again. I'll walk away and wander in. This time I don't think I'm gonna leave. You know the river runs outside my door. Black snake sleeps beneath my floor. Hickory oak and sycamore, hoot owl calling me, come back home. Well, I grew up by the river, that's my home. Got it in my blood and in my bones. The music moves me like a whippoorwill. There's really only one song I can sing. Oh, it's always dangerous for me to do this song after I've been singing for a while, because it strains the limit of my voice. But I'm a fool enough to try it. Living out here in the country, sleeping in a hollow log. Don't have a phone and no TV. Well, I don't even have a dog. It's just me and the birds and the bees. Whoa. You know, I don't seem to have many arguments with the trees. Twister come tearing through my cornfield, black wind picking it clean. Better get down in the cellar before it starts picking on me. Big wind blew down my barn. and it plucked my chickens and it took away my car. When that lightning come flashing in my window, thunder come knocking on my door, rain come dripping through my ceiling, running all over my floor. I don't care. Hey, let the water come in, and if the level starts rising, I know how to swim. Well, the guitars are playing in the kitchen, fiddle music coming from the porch, full moon rising on the ridgeline, lightning bugs are blinking in the dark. Get loose. Hey, let the spirit move. You know there's nothing like a dancing in the light of a rising moon. I don't care if you got any money, don't care if you've been to no school. Anyone who wants can get open, anyone can be a fool. So get loose. Hey, let the spirit move. You know there's nothing like a dancing for making your butter smooth. I said there's nothing like a dancing for making your butter smooth. When I was living out on the Round Oak Commune, south of Columbia, I had a girlfriend for a while who was from San Antonio, Texas. And she got some big highfalutin scholarship to Stanford and left and wanted to know if I wanted to go along. So I said, oh, sure, I've got it together. There's nothing holding me here. I've learned everything I want to learn in this spot. I got to settle up some things, but I'll come out and meet you out there, just stay in touch with me. So we stayed in touch, and about a month later, I packed everything I owned into my car and headed out for California. And sure enough, as soon as I got there, she was living in this beautiful studio apartment up on the hill outside of Palo Alto, artist studio kind of place. And it would have been great, except there was this other guy there that that she had met at some kind of love fest somewhere. I don't know. He was some dropout psychiatrist or psychologist from Chicago who about every other word, when I got a little riled up about the situation, all he could say was over and over again, hey, man, be here now, just be here now. And, oh, man, I was upset. But and also all the way out to California, I'd been having this soreness in my jaw. And I got out there, and it really got intense. And so after I'd found out the situation there, I decided, well, I better go see about this. So I went down the hill, went into town, found a dentist, and he said, oh, yeah, you got a impacted wisdom tooth. Yeah, sure, wisdom tooth. So they pumped me up with some kind of heavy-duty drugs and jerked out my wisdom tooth. And I didn't hardly know where I was at that point, so I called up my friend up on the mountain there and told her to come down and could she come down and get me maybe and get me through this period of time that I was suffering from drugs and impacted wisdom tooth stuff. So she came and got me, and it was about a day there that I spent up there with her and this guy and me laying there in pain and agony and fantasizing all the time that I was going to bash this guy over the head with something heavy. But I finally realized that I was way overreacting to this situation, and I started saying to myself, now when you left Columbia, you were telling yourself how together you had it. And here you are just completely losing it all of a sudden. So get it back together. So I did, more or less, get it back together. I got me a little apartment on Alma Street, Soul Street in Palo Alto, right on this heavy-duty freeway with the ding-ding train that came down from San Francisco. I'd been living out in the woods, like for 3 years in total silence. And suddenly I got cars racing by on this freeway, and ding, 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 ding. Every time this train came in, there was one of those things that came down across the road, to keep people from getting smashed. Ding, 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 ding every 20 minutes. So but I hung on there for a considerable period of time, and then I finally decided I was coming back to Missouri. And on the way back, I sort of resolved this in my mind and decided, I didn't want to be angry at this person. She was a very nice person, and so she found somebody else. What the hell, So I pretty much got over it. So I wrote this song kind of based on getting over it, I guess you'd say. And it's called Texas Lady. I always hoped that Willie Nelson would pick this up or something. And I could have got rich. Texas lady, we've been lovers, we've been friends. Yes, I hoped the good times that we shared would never end. But summer turns to autumn, and the greenest leaves turn brown. The last leaves of love have fallen down. In the seasons of the heart, there are winds that blow hard, and winds that can melt the deepest snow. There are times to get and give, there are other lives to live, but I sure am gonna miss you when you're gone. Texas lady, may there always be a light to guide you on your darkest paths and help you through your nights. So here's a glass of wine to toast the 2 good years we had, and another glass to help us understand. In the seasons of the heart, there are winds that blow hard, and winds that can melt the deepest snow. There are times to get and give, there are other lives to live, but I sure am gonna miss you when you're gone. California, may your beauty never fade. Yes, I'll always think of you as redwoods in the rain. But something in Missouri calling me to come back home to the only peace on earth I've ever known. In the seasons of the heart, There are winds that blow hard, winds that can melt deepest snow. There are times to get and give, there are other lives to live, but I sure am gonna miss you when you're gone. You know I'm gonna miss you when you're gone. When the rains come down in the Ozark Mountains, when the clouds hang low in the Ozark Hills, when the cold springs flow like a silver fountain, I'll return with a whippoorwill from the blackjack oaks up on Thorny Mountain to the dogwood blooming in the valley below. When the fiddler calls, well, I'll be going back where the ferns and the mosses grow. When the rains come down in the Ozark Mountains, when the clouds hang low in the Ozark Hills, when the cold springs flow like silver fountains, I'll return with a whippoorwill. There's a turkey buzzard sitting in a twisted cedar. There's a rattlesnake sunning in a rocky glade. There's a red-tailed hawk and he's looking for some dinner. There's a black bat sleeping in a limestone cave. When the rains come down in the Ozark Mountains, when the clouds hang low in the Ozark Hills, when the cold springs flow like a silver fountains, I'll return with a whippoorwill. When the bloodroot blooms down in Stillhouse Holler, when the salamander spawn down at Turner's Mill, when I hear the sound of the coyotes a calling, I'll return to the Ozark Hills. When the rains come down in the Ozark Mountains, when the clouds hang low in the Ozark Hills, when the cold springs flow like a silver fountain, then I'll return with a whippoorwill. Well, I'm walking on the rim of a limestone canyon, taking my life one step at a time. You can keep your cities, you can keep your mansions, just as long as I can walk underneath the pine. When the rain comes down in the Ozark Mountains, when the clouds hang low in the Ozark Hills, when the cold springs flow like a silver fountain, then I'll return to the Ozark Hills, lay my head by a rippling river, rest my bones by a cottonwood tree. Lord, and when I die, just to cover me over, down by the side of an Ozark stream, when the rain comes down in the Ozark Mountains, when the clouds hang low in the Ozark Hills, when the cold springs flow like a silver fountain, then I'll return with a whippoorwill. Then I'll return with a whippoorwill. This one's called On a Day Like Today. I wrote this when I was living in a house out by Gooch's Mill, house that one of my old buddies had lived in before me, Jim Higby, who's sitting right here in front of me. I'm eternally grateful to him for turning me on to this house. Unfortunately, it's gone now. It was a beautiful place. Sat up on kind of the side of a low hill, looking down into this bottomlander of the Teetsaline Creek, pretty much right across from Gooch's Mill. Had a real nice porch swing, and I used to sit out there and swing and think about things, and this song resulted from that. Let's see, I don't need that. On a day like today, in the heat of this late summer weather, there's a haze in the trees, and there's something going on in the clover. Sound of the bees in the clover. There's a hawk in the sky, shine on the wide river's water, and I feel deep inside something wanting to stay here forever. But the seasons keep changing, and the days just keep running away. And forever's a gift you're forever giving away. On a day like today, in the last golden days of October, there's a chill in the air, a light haze of frost in the clover. There's a fire in the trees, a sound in the breeze like a whisper. And I feel deep inside something wanting to stay here forever. But the seasons keep changing, and the days just keep running away, and forever's a gift you're forever giving away. On a day like today, in the heart of a long, bitter winter, with the moon in the sky, making stars on the snow in the clover, as I sit by the fire in the heat of the slow dying embers, I can feel deep inside something wanting to stay here forever. But the seasons keep changing, and the days just keep running away, and forever's a gift you're forever giving away. It's a morning in spring, and the dew on the jewelweed still glistens, and I almost can hear all the life being born when I listen. I walk down by the spring, and I drink from the clear flowing water, and I feel deep inside something wanting to stay here forever. But the seasons keep changing, and the days just keep running away. Forever's a gift you're forever giving away, and forever's a gift you're forever giving away. Thank you. In the evening when the sun goes down, find myself thinking about all of the love we've shared, knowing you're with me still. There's a cat on the windowsill. There's a cat on the windowsill. There's a painting of you and me. We're floating down a shady stream. Everything around us is green. The light is a mystery. Sometimes at night when I dream my dreams, with all of those strange scenes, we're up there on the movie screen. We're in our favorite frills. There's a cat on the windowsill. There's a cat on the windowsill. There's a painting of you and me. We're floating down a shady stream. Everything around us is green. The light is a mystery. And in the morning when the sun comes up, we're drinking tea from our favorite cups. This is the life I love. I know that I always will. There's a cat on the windowsill. windowsill. There's a cat on the windowsill. There's a painting of you and me. We're floating down a shady stream. Everything around us is green. The light is a mystery. And if I could choose my heavenly home, it would be like this one we've known, a place where we'd never grow old, and you would be with me still. There'd be a cat on the windowsill. There's a cat on the windowsill. There's a painting of you and me. We're floating down a shady stream. Everything around us is green. The light is a mystery. This song is called Last Man to Hang in Missouri. Now, this has a little story connected with it. This is based on an actual incident. There was a fellow named Lawrence Mabry who was hung in Booneville behind the Cooper County Jail back in 1930. Is that when it was? 30 or 31. 1930, I think. For killing a guy that he robbed over in Sedalia, Missouri. And this boy was only like 18 or 19 years old. And there was a lot of controversy about whether they should be hanging somebody that young, but they went ahead and did it. And, you know, when I was growing up, what I used to always hear was that he was the last man to be legally hung in Missouri. Since that time, I've learned there were actually a couple of more guys that got legally hung after that. But it didn't sound quite right to say the next to last man to hang in Missouri. And when this song was reviewed in the Ozark Mountaineer, I think it was, I mentioned Jim Higbee, who I'd done the historic survey with in Booneville, as, you know, being kind of one of the inspirations for me writing the song. And somehow the guy that wrote the review got the idea that Higbee was the last man to hang in Missouri. So, but anyway, this song's a little bit like the Star Spangled Banner in some way too, because it's got this. If I play it in one key, part of it's almost too high for my voice, and the low part's just right. But if I play it in the key that's better for the high part of my voice, the low part's too low. So we shall see how this works. He was born in the Ozark foothills. He was a coal camp teamster son. Before he turned 16, he got a taste for booze and guns. Well, his mama tried to slow him down when they moved up to Sedalia town. By then, there wasn't much she could do. Well, the first time he got busted, he was drinking rot gut booze. He was just 16, on the run, living fast and loose. Well, his mama got him off that time. The trouble wasn't hard to find. Didn't take him long to seek it out. Next time he got busted, he was carrying a gun. Robbed a man of $3.50 and some nickels just for fun. But his car got stuck on the getaway. They caught him as he ran away. tracked him down, and he spent some time in jail. Well, he'd only served a year or so. He got out on parole. Played it straight for a few short months, but the straight life was a bore. So he stole a car, left one night, headed up for the city lights, where a kid like him could make a bigger score. He met a man named Collins. They took to stealing cars. They lived it up and they spent their time in honky-tonks and bars. But Mabry's luck was running thin. One dark night he killed a man. They tracked him down, sentenced him to hang. He was the last man to hang in Missouri. Well, they strung him up in a barn behind the Cooper County Jail. And the last thing he said was, "I want to die smiling." The last thing he heard that day, the hound dog's mournful wail. So at last the day came round to pay for what he'd done. And Mabry's only real regret was that he had to die so young. He gave a dime to Sheriff Groom. He gave a dime to Big Jim Drew. The prisoners sang when the saints go marching in. He was the last man to hang in Missouri. Well, they strung him up in a barn behind the Cooper County Jail. And the last thing he said was, "I want to die smiling." And the last thing he heard that day, the hound dog's mournful wail.